Welcome to LOA, the channel where we talk about all things law of attraction. And today I'm going to be talking about the receiving mode. If you know anything about the law of attraction, you know there are three main steps to attracting something into your reality. The first is to ask. The second is to believe. And the third is to receive. Now that would seem to be the easiest part. We have nothing to do with that, right? That is God of the universe. That's his job, that he's just going to bestow it upon us. Yes, but we also are co-creating, and there's a part we need to play to stay believing to receive. So staying in that receiving mode during whatever the germination process is, because everything that is created comes from a seed of faith. And that germination process could be quick or could actually take a long time. So I want to talk about how you can stay in the receiving mode and not neutralize what you're trying to receive. But I'll start off with telling you first, what exactly is the receiving mode so you can better understand what you're working with. So the receiving mode is a state of mind or state of being. Once you've asked for something, there is already in that instance a vibrational match to what you've asked for. God showed me a deeper understanding of this when I was in my backyard one time sitting at my lake, and he showed me, and I'll put a picture up here, he showed me how the trees were perfectly reflecting on the top of the waters of the lake, and that represented the vibrational version of what you may be asking for. And then you see, of course, the real live tangible trees there that are in the natural. So he was showing that to me to be an analogy that there is a vibrational mirage or reflection of what we want in heaven. And if you listen to Abraham Hicks, you would actually know this as called as the vortex, the place where all of our heart's desires, that everything that we want and think about is all just jammed in there. I have a ton in there, I know. And we then are waiting for it to come into our existence. So like the scripture says, on earth as it is in heaven, that there is a transference. And that could take a day, a minute, 30 years. I do have a story at the end of this video of a manifestation I manifested after 30 years. So, you know I love to give evidence of the law of attraction on this video. So at the very end, I'm going to give you 3 things that's happened to me. But back to the receiving mode. So it is a state of mind and a state of being. You have to live as if it already happened. That's your faith in action. So now I'm going to go over 3 of the main teachers that have really developed my growth in learning about the law of attraction. So the first one will be Neville Goddard's version. So Neville Goddard, he talks a lot about the imagination is really the power that God uses to really transfer things into this world, to manifest things that you want. So he gives 2 techniques that I'm going to share today. The first one is living in the end. Basically putting yourself in your mind and in your imagination as if it already happened. So if you are really wanting a promotion, you need to start dressing and acting like you've already got that promotion. Do things at work differently as if you already had that promotion. Look at what you would do with an increase of pay. Think about how you would maybe change the company's culture or processes and already act like I'm responsible for this now. I'm going to do it. You can do all of this in your imagination. You can actually start going to work in your mind and seeing how you are living out your day. You could also take it to the next level and really try to action out some of these things in your everyday life. The second technique he talks about is using your imagination to tell a story as if it already happened. So he calls it the remember when. So he uses an example of a grandfather telling two other generations, so a son and a grandson. This is the example he uses. Remember when this was just an empty lot? Nothing was here, but now it has our beautiful ancestral home on here. And then you go to describe the home and what you use it for. And it's basically taking your mind and your imagination, which will influence the energies in your body, the frequencies in your body, and the feelings, and transports you to the present, or in this case, as if it already happened. So it's almost like a past tense. Like you already went from an empty lot to a built, beautiful home to been enjoying it for years. He has seen where he has made many things come to pass this way and has helped others use this technique to make things come into their existence. I have just come upon this technique and just used it the other day, and it already worked. Not exactly like I thought it was, but it was a inkling of proof right away. So I'm going to keep practicing, keep using this technique. So just to recap his two techniques, one is to live in the end. Either it's through your imagination, definitely through your imagination, but if you can take any of the components of living as if it already happened, do that. It will just accelerate the process of the germination of that coming to pass. Like I was saying earlier, everything you ask for creates a seed, and that seed is your faith, and it gets watered and develops and germinates. But you just have to not lose heart, right? We can't get impatient and doubtful. So it's good to just look for it, have fun, and look for ways to keep it alive and keep it as if it already has happened. The second teacher I would like to reference is Florence Scovel Shinn, and she talks about inspired action all the time. The way that she uses living in the end is really finding ways to make yourself feel as if it's happening. You want to fuel your faith, like keep it alive by doing something that makes you feel opulent. If you're really wanting something luxurious or expensive in your life, don't see lack, and don't make that a time to where you start scrimping and saving, but go out for an expensive meal and feel opulent. Or if you're really looking for a house, maybe buy a chair for your house. Do something to prepare. She even says if you're looking for something opulent in your life, remove things that are tattered or torn or old clothes that make you feel that you have less than, that you're still in a lack mentality. So there's so many ways you will get inspired once you start putting these thoughts in your mind and start being open to actioning any inspired thoughts. It works, guys. I have done it many times. So that's her technique, is digging your ditches through using inspired action to protect your feeling, protect your faith, and to feel like you will feel in the end. So Neville's about thinking as if you were living in the end. Chauvel talks about putting yourself in that feeling as how you would feel in the end of manifesting what you want. And then lastly, I just want to wrap it up with different techniques of not getting into that wobble and losing and stepping out of the receiving mode, because we can often neutralize our energies. So we can never be pinched off from the source of God. And you can never just turn off the law of attraction and go, wait, let me pause this. I don't want to be like really concentrating on this and minding my P's and Q's with my feelings. I just want to have a day where I'm just annoyed and mad and I just want to have a self-pity party. You can't turn it off. So you can do anything. This is a life that we can have our free will and do anything, right? But thank God for the germination the process, because you could be thinking of something and it would just drop into your existence, and it could be very much chaos. So I see the waiting as the grace of God. So learn just to see it that way. I often use the analogy that I'm placing an Amazon order, that, okay, I've asked for it. I believe it's coming. I put in the order. I've never not got an Amazon package. So it's just on its way. There might be times it's coming from a long, far away place and it's going to take longer. Or there might even be a delay and it got delivered to the wrong location and it needs to get rerouted. That you don't want to think things like, oh, it's not coming. You might benefit from this. My husband had a great analogy about staying in the receiving mode. You want to stay in the mode, like if you're in line to get something, you want to be that next person. You want to keep yourself feeling like you're next or it's here, and not think about and say, this is about your speech now. Don't say things like, if it happens, because that puts you at the end of the line again. It's taking you out of the mode or the state of mind that it's long ways off. So if has a undertone of doubt, so you don't want to say that. It needs to be, if it's already happened, like, I love my new car. It gets such great gas mileage and it gives me such joy to ride, and I love being able to take my friends places. Like, think of things as if it already happened. So you don't say things like whenever that happens, because see, that also kind of a little closer to feeling full of faith, but it still has a maybe in there. So that could be getting you out of the next in line place to the end of the line. So really, what I wanted to bring to you today is to be mindful of how you think, how you speak, and how you act. And these are techniques that I shared with you that you can be more intentional on how you speak, act, and think to line up with what you're trying to manifest. Because we're always attracting and manifesting in our lives. We just want to make sure it's what we want. So I'll leave you with that and move right into my testimonies. So I'm going to start with the big one, guys. It took me 30 years, because I will tell you, many times I put myself at the back of the line with my thinking. I, this week, got a Mercedes. I have been wanting a sports car Mercedes since I was 18 years old, and I heard that song on the radio by Pebbles, "Do you want to ride my Mercedes, boy?" I just remember that just hitting me some sort of way, and I was just like, I'm going to have one of those one day. And I have off and on in life had a more stronger desire for it, and then I've laid it down, and then had a stronger desire for it, and then laid it down. So I have been all over the place with this. But now that I have come across the law of attraction and really learning how to apply it in my life, I've used things of really just seeing that my pipeline of receiving can only be pinched off, or we don't get pinched off, but we can neutralize ourselves with our own subconscious thoughts or belief patterns and paradigms. So I had to change some paradigms and beliefs that I had about just overall, do I deserve it, should I have it, all those things. And I cleaned that all up and it's here. It was like it's been no time at all. The second thing that's happened is it didn't even take 30 days. I think it was within 2 or 3 weeks. I was really wanting some Botox. Yep, I'm going to be open about that, ladies. Wearing these masks has really dried my face out, where I'm getting more lines above my lip. And I was like, I really think I want to try some Botox to straighten out those lines before they get too bad. And somebody, it was so sweet too, they gave me an address and said, do not Google this address, like what it's about. Meet me here at 8 o'clock in the morning. And they treated me to Botox. And then the third thing was, one of my friends and I were trying to think of a trip to go on. And she sent me some places and we were looking at it, and she sent me a place called Anakeesta. It's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it has these bridges on the treetops. So you go way up high in the trees and you walk these rope bridges, and there's lights lined up all around them, and basically you walk the tops of the trees. And we went in the nighttime, so the lights were glowing and it was so magical. I was giving up the punchline here, but basically she showed me that when we were deciding to go somewhere, and we ended up going somewhere else, but I'm like, I really still want to go there. And sure enough, just last week we went there. I went there with a couple of friends, and then a particular friend said, actually, I want to go while we're up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to this park, and I would like to treat you to it. I'm like, yes! So it works, guys. I don't want to call it even work. I'd rather just call it awareness. If you just stay aware of what you're thinking and take time to be quiet to see what maybe are behind running some of your thoughts, and clean up some of your thought processes, speak truth to what it really is, uncover the lies that you've been telling yourself, or that someone, in your upbringing has spoke to you, and just say, that's not true, I don't believe it, and just replace it with the truth. It's amazing the things that can happen. So I hope I've helped you today to know how to better master staying in the receiving mode. Until next time, enjoy the journey within.